Dimeji Fabi is still with us. He's a member of the All Progressives Congress. Just before we went on that break, you were talking about how some of your members were saying that this cry for restructuring is a cry from members who, or from people who lost out in the 2015 elections. And you say that you're very surprised at that.
Yes, it's unfortunate that people like Governor El-Rufai, who was a staunch advocate of restructuring a few years back, will come on here and say, and term people opportunists. I'm surprised that is...
Do you think he was addressed to your principal?
Well, I don't know. It's for him to answer that. That's the number two. Look at Governor Oshomole. Yesterday was booed. That is to tell you that this call is popular and nothing can stop.
There was disagreement.
About what?
About, what he said. Members of the Nigeria Labour Congress disagreed with him.
That what? That it's because people lost out, because people who are calling for restructuring are people who lost out in the last election? It doesn't make any sense. It lacks logic and reason to me.
It is interesting now that your party has finally set up a committee and they've inaugurated that committee to look into restructuring. And Governor El-Rufai happens to be heading that committee. I think they want
his party is not the government. But they will just recommend, and then I don't know.
So what do you think? What will you be telling them to include or incorporate as part of the recommendations?
What they need to do is everywhere. We need devolution of powers. We want states and the local government to have powers to be able to do things, control make their resources, and get some percentage to the center. These are the things. We want state police. We want state police. We want a lot of things in restructuring in this call for restructuring. And I want to thank all our eminent leaders who have been serious voice in this. And I want to charge all the youths. Leaders like Atiku Abubakar, IBB, Sultan, and all that. I want to thank them for taking the lead in this advocacy. Then I want to charge the youth I want them to know that this is about them. This is about these people. These guys are old and they will soon be leaving. So it's about us. When you see leaders who are fighting for your future, you need to rise up and support them. So because youths, whether they like it or not, they have an enormous task. Because with their power, with their talent, with their numbers, with their capacity to make sure that they take lead in this advocacy. If they don't, it's at their own peril.
It's definitely a very fine place to leave it, Dimeji Fabi, that message to the youth. I've been speaking with Dimeji Fabi, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress. Sunrise Daily will continue in just a moment, or right about now, with Chamberlain and Gimba in Lagos.
Yes, indeed, and we've got Professor Oyewo, who is of the Department of Public Law, Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning, sir.
Thank you very much.
Well. So much talk about restructuring. Yes. What do you make of that call?
Well, the call for restructuring is something that represents a new definition of what used to be called the national question. All the problems that relates to federalism. Restructuring is rooted in the practice of federalism. And we've been practicing federalism since 1954. And the practice of federalism in Nigeria has not conformed to the ideal concept of federalism. Although no two federalism are always the same, but we've moved further and further away from the concept of federalism. That's why you find people talking about true federalism, because they are saying that what you are practicing is fake federalism, in the sense that the components of federalism requires levels of government, the central and the federating states, to be a bit autonomous in their sphere. But we've had a weakened federalism, over centralization, and then we have had federalism that the composition of the unit states had emerged without the input of the people. If you remember, the concept of restructuring actually started post, 1966, 1967, when Gowon, in responding to the Biafran War, started the creation of states, moved from 4 regions to 12 states. We went from 12 states to 19 to 21 to 30. Then we are now at 36. All this while, we had never sat down to look at this, but rather these were created by military administrations without consultation. And then the impact of the military administration also meant the command system of the military you know, permeating into our federal system, so that powers were arrogated.
So this is a backlash of the military creation.
It's rooted in our history. It's rooted in our history. We've been, you know, patching it up, and we came up with all kinds of, you know, devices, political devices written into our constitution, you know,